Welcome to Roots and Roofs, where we explore the intersection of motherhood and entrepreneurship in the real estate world. I am your host, Mackenzie Shelton. Join us as we dive into the unique journey of balancing family life with owning a thriving real estate business. Each episode, we will uncover inspiring stories, practical tips, mindset conversations, and expert insights from others who are carving their paths in the real estate industry. Whether you are a seasoned realtor, a prospective buyer, or simply curious about the dynamics of managing both home and career, Roots and Roofs is your go-to podcast for heartfelt discussions and invaluable advice. Tune in and discover how these incredible women are building deep roots from the ground up while nurturing their families under the same roof. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Roots and Roofs. I have a very exciting guest with me today. Courtney Otte is an interior designer and owns her own business and is a mom and all of the things. So, Courtney, why don't you just take a minute to kind of introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on the podcast today. I'm excited to be here. Courtney Otte, I started the Modern Hive Interior Design when I was 22 in 2012. So we've been operating for about 14 years now. And what we offer our clients is just a very comprehensive, high turnkey level of a design experience when it comes to remodeling, building, or furnishing your home.
Wow, that is so awesome. So you've actually talked a lot about designing homes around real life, not just kind of what looks good or what is trendy. So how has becoming a mom kind of shaped how you run that side of the business?
Yeah, I think becoming a mom has really changed the way I've designed on a lot of different levels. When I first kind of started out, it was like, what looks good? What's going to feel good in this space? But now it's more so, what's going to feel good, but also what's going to function for that mom on a day-to-day basis. Like when she's running out the door at 7:30 in the morning, is this space working for her or is it working against her? So I have 3 little kids, and I know what it's like to not have a house that functions very well for you. Luckily, we can change that, but I think that has become a really big point behind the philosophy of how we approach design is, thinking through those things. Is it beautiful, but also is it functional?
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the things that you feel like you see time and time again that people either desire to, kind of have in their space to make things more functional, or things that, people are just kind of asking for over and over again?
Yeah, I think if you're building a new home, there's a lot of really cool things you can put into it. Like the schoolery or the butler's pantry is really a big one right now, where you can kind of put the mess away. When you're entertaining, it doesn't all have to be out on the island. But really from a more practical standpoint, I think it comes down to thinking through the small details in how we can organize the space to really work for you instead of against you. So like in the kitchen, think through how do you cook? Are you someone who is going to cook a luxury chef-made meal every day for your kids, and that organic approach is really important to you and what you feed your kids? Then maybe we need to think through a couple more elements in the kitchen that will help you do that successfully instead of having it just be a big chaotic mess. So that for me is a really big thing. Other things I would say, when you're running out the door, the mudroom situation is really important. How are those cabinets organized? Is there enough space for all the kiddos going in and out the door? Things of that nature.
Absolutely. So my husband and I bought a 1970s build that we remodeled, and that was I love to cook. So my huge thing was, how do I make this kitchen super functional for me as someone who really likes to cook?
Yeah.
And it's funny, actually, for me, one of the things that, because I'm a short person, I mean, not super short, but I'm 5'5",
yeah, same.
I was like, I don't want a bunch of upper cabinets because, you put them to the ceiling and then you can't hardly reach anything that's in there.
Yeah, I mean, you're so right. Those upper cabinets are more of an aesthetical thing.
Yes.
So, yeah, you're right. It's finding that balance.
Right, absolutely. But it's like all of those things that people don't kind of like take the time to think about when they're building something new. They're like, oh, does it look pretty, right? But is it functional?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of going through the process of building my someday builds on my, we use SketchUp as our drafting program. So I'm like really thinking about all these things too. For me, it's like if the house floor plan layout, there's a set of stairs all the way over here by the entry, but let's think about it. If you're carrying a kid in the middle of the night, do you also want a set of stairs close to the garage so you can just go straight up to their bedroom?
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Yeah, it's like all the little things like that, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. So when you are doing something for somebody like with a new build, are you focusing more on like really custom properties, or do you also do stuff where, maybe somebody is buying a spec, but they have an opportunity to change some things in it? Like, who's kind of your typical client base?
That's a great question. We have different tiers that we can offer our clients. Our the projects that we really thrive on the most are more those full turnkey, very highly customized options. You just end up with a more comprehensive results. Everyone's happier because you have that partner in the project from start to finish, which is something that we really pride ourselves on. We want to see it through fruition. We're not just going to abandon you at a certain point and be like, hey, good luck. But to that point, we do also have a selection tier offerings where if you are building a spec home and you just need a little bit of help with the selections, as long as the architectural or the drafted plans are really strong, we can easily come in and help with that.
Sure, absolutely. Do you help with like a lot of, older home remodels that people are doing and things like that?
We do. And actually, I think we kind of got our start from that. So we're pretty well known for doing remodels, even though we can do new builds as well. I love them because it's like a puzzle. We don't have that floor plan that the architect or drafter has provided. And so it's my team and I coming into the space, consulting with needed trades. If there's like structural stuff that we want to do, obviously we consult with an engineer or an architect in that way. But remodels are so much fun. Like I said, it's like a puzzle. It's like, how can we fit these things that our client is telling us they need and want into the space to function better into the provided parameters?
Oh my gosh, yes. I probably could have used you, like about a year and a half ago now. But my husband and I have done a lot of like flip properties and things like that. It's funny. As a realtor, I now actually like tell clients this. Some buyers like just naturally have vision, right? Like they can go into a space and be like, yeah, this isn't exactly what I need, but like I can change this and this and this and everything will be perfect, right? Mm-hmm. And then other people walk in and they're like, I can't see it, right? And so thankfully I usually have vision so that I can help people and hopefully line them up with someone like yourself to actually then, create the vision and implement it, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So kind of tell me, I'm sure that your clients are, also juggling careers and kids and, all of those things. What do you see as like one of the biggest pain points that you see women kind of have in their home, and how does what you do kind of help relieve that for them?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So a lot of clients aren't really coming to us saying like, hey, my home is causing me stress. But at the end of the day, it's more so that they just don't have the capacity or the time, energy, effort to put into it to make it happen. And so they're coming to us just saying like, I just want it finished, And so there's like a lot of different layers to that, right? So we have to dive into, okay, what are those inefficiencies that are happening in the space? And how can we step in a comprehensive way to take that overwhelm off of your plate?
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so I want to go back to the fact that you said that you started this business when you were 22, okay?
Yeah.
So how has this kind of evolved for you as a probably young 22-year-old. I'm guessing you weren't married yet.
Actually, I was.
Oh, you were? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I started life really young.
Okay,
Got married at 22, started a business at 22.
Okay, awesome.
Husband joined the military at I was 22, he was 23. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So how has like the business kind of evolved for you as a, young newlywed to now a seasoned mom? Like how has life changed for you as far as that's concerned?
It's really wild to look back on it, quite honestly, because I didn't know anything about running a business when I was 22 years old. I had probably really no business opening a business at that age. But, when I first started, I was really kind of leaning into learning what are the offerings that I want to give clients. But more so when I look back, I see that, there's so many different ways to run an interior design business and firm. And when I was just starting, I was very much in a reactive mode. I'm just like available to anyone and everyone. And you kind of have to take a step back as you start to grow the business and look at like what is working and what is not working. And I was tying too much value into that availability, but there was no real process and system in place at that time. It was just like, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? And, that's not a bad thing. But if you don't have a systemized structure in place and a workflow that you're walking your clients through, setting up those boundaries, at the end of the day, they're not going to have as good of an experience as they would if those things were set up and structured and in place. So over time, I have learned the importance of that, putting them in place, holding my team accountable to them. Because, I just started out, it was me. Now I have a team of people. I've got 3 other actual physical in-office people working for me. But then I also have other specialty contractors working for me on, specialty type projects and things of that nature. So you can't not have a system is basically where I've grown and learned the most.
Sure, absolutely. Do you feel like motherhood kind of forced you to create those systems?
Yeah. I mean, if there were no systems, we would get nothing done around the house. The kids would just be running crazy and nobody would get to school on time. So, for me, it's like my routine. I wash my hair at night. I don't wash it in the morning because there's not time. You got to get the kids fed and out the door and to school.
Yes, absolutely. I think I'm actually writing a book right now, and I talk a lot about that in my book, that a lot of our chaos and frustration and irritability and anxiety as like a mom is because we don't have systems and processes, and we're kind of reacting to life instead of, setting ourselves up for success.
It's like induced chaos. Yeah. Like you choose your hard, right? Like having a system and holding yourself to the system is hard, but it's also equally as hard to just indulge in that chaos of not having a plan.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, I'm still working on this every day, right? At this point, I'm a very seasoned parent, and there's always times where I feel like I'm just still living in chaos, right? and I don't think that ever like entirely goes away, but I think that there are ways to like bring more peace into your life through the systems.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And actually, I think to your point, with kind of what you said about running a business, like I learned a lot of that because I started a business, right? It's almost like, if I hadn't done that, would I have felt like I needed systems and processes? Maybe not. But even then, to your point, like we don't need to have chaos in the morning with just getting ready, right? Like how many things can we set up? Like I always have had my little ones like put out their clothes the night before and things like that. So we're not fighting about outfits.
Small little things help.
Yes, absolutely. Agreed. So as a mom and a business owner, how do you protect your time and energy while still delivering a high level of service? I'm sure this has evolved over time, but
yeah. Okay. So protecting my time and energy, it is still a learning. It's something I'm continually learning, I should say. I'm not perfect at it, but I've learned to set boundaries in place in terms of, like there's certain windows of communication with me, this saying someone said, and I'm like, oh, that resonates really well. It might not come across really well, but someone had said once, like, as the business owner, not everyone has access to the queen. And it's so true. Not that I think that I'm a queen by any means, but I resonated really well with that saying because, yeah, you're right. Like, not everyone should be able to just have that direct access to the person in charge, because otherwise I'm going to end up spending my time working on things that aren't as high value or in my zone of genius and expertise.
Oh, man, it sounds like you've read some books.
Audiobooks. I listen to books.
Yes. That makes me think of like 10x is better than 2x and a couple other ones. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I've had to learn this too as a business owner, right? If we're the ones always dealing with the small problems, then we're the bottleneck, right? Yeah. And we then don't get the opportunity to work on the business because we are constantly working in the business.
And it is such a hard balance because when I started my firm, it was me doing interior design day in and day out. And now I have to really strategically split my time. And I find myself often wanting to like jump into what the other designers are doing. Like, nope, I can give my input at certain checkpoints, and that's when I give it. Otherwise, I really have to trust them to do their job and do it well based upon the systems we set up and the training that we've gained along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're 100% correct. I feel like almost every other day, I was literally having this thought last night. I was like, I could just go back to selling like a boatload of houses like I was before, and life would probably feel simpler. But then when I really reflected on it, it was like, actually, life was not simpler because I was the only one doing all those things. So as much as I want to always be the one like holding people's hand through the entire process, I now have set myself up for other people to get the opportunity to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you know that the experience at the end of the day is going to be equally as good, if not better.
Yes.
Because you're allowing those people who have that expertise in that area to do the job, and then you get to do the more, the other high deliverable parts of the job as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think all business owners suffer from being a control freak to some degree.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It has been so hard for me to let go of those things. But I also hold true to this saying that done is better than perfect. I mean, there's certain things that really you have to look at very close and make sure they're damn near perfect. Can I say that?
No, yeah, you can. You can. Every guest, I think, has cussed on the podcast, so you're fine.
Perfect. Yeah, but, if I'm waiting to, like, launch a new service or a new offering or present a design until it's, like, 100% perfect, it's going to take me so much longer than if I just kind of, like, launched it out there and adjusted along the way.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. That is so true. Speaking of writing a book, like, I'm a recovering perfectionist always. Never will be recovered. And I've had to kind of, when I submitted my first manuscript, like the first draft, it was like, okay, I need to just do this and quit making changes because I was starting to go back and forth and back, and same thing with like the buying and selling process. Like, I mean, really anything you do, right?
It really starts to dilute the end result.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that also stands true for motherhood too, right? We want, life to be perfect, and one, humans are not,
it's
right?
Messy.
Yes, it's messy, and two, little kids lack perfection all the way around because they're still learning, right?
That's what I love about them.
Yes, absolutely. And that's also like if you are just naturally more a little like type A and things like that, like motherhood just like cracks that open and is like, nope, you don't get to be perfect about anything anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of the day, I know you're not just designing spaces. You're shaping how families live inside these spaces. So what kind of legacy? You've been doing this for how many years now?
14.
Yeah. So what kind of legacy are you hoping
your work leaves behind for the families you serve.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's really interesting working with clients. These projects take a really long time often, up to a year or even longer sometimes. And so you get a lot of really interesting insight into their everyday life. Sometimes you learn things that like maybe they're going through a hard thing or they've gone through a hard thing or they're walking through some kind of loss or just, the chaos of busy families, busy parents, working those jobs with all the little kids. And so the legacy that I really want to leave them at the end of the day is, did this house not only function well for you, but did it create that legacy in terms of, is it creating those memories that you can look back on? And, it's not like the house is causing you that stress that maybe it once was. It's making life simpler for you. Yeah. It's not just about how it looks. It's about how you're experiencing the house on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I love that. So one last question for you. Projecting kind of towards the future, what do you want your business to look like over the next 3 to 5 years? Like, what are some of the big goals and ambitions that you guys have?
That is such a tough question. But I do have some dreams and vision for our business. So as a mom and a business owner, I think I'm to a point where, yes, I want to continue to grow the business, maybe add a couple more team members. I don't want to get to a point where I'm like removed completely, but I want the opportunity to be able to, maybe take a little bit of time off and like in a certain season or something like that and show up for my kids in a meaningful way and know that the business is taken care of. And then at a different season, I hop back into it. I kind of was explaining to someone recently that I want to be like obviously the brand face of the business. And then when I get like much older, I want to be like that. What do you call it? Like the support person, kind of like a coach type person, where I'm like retired, but I'm not. I'm still coming in, and people are coming in to talk to me, check in with me. Like I'm giving them advice. So I think that's kind of where I eventually want to take the business is, continue to make it be successful, but get to a point where I can, just kind of mentor others and keep the business going.
That is the best way to leave a legacy, right? Is the opportunity to mentor, to coach, to teach the next generation the things that you've learned. So, yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Of course.
I really appreciate having this conversation with you. Can you tell everybody, we'll put it in the show notes for sure, but where can people go and follow you if they want to learn more about you and your interior design business and all the things?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a great website if you want to learn about our service offerings or check out our portfolio, themodernhive.com. But we're really active on our social media pages. I would say Instagram is probably the most active, but you can find us on pretty much all the different platforms out there. So you can search us at The Modern Hive on Instagram. And if you're interested into seeing what my personal life looks like, I have a personal brand account. It's at Silicone Prairie Style. And so that gives you just a little bit more insight into like the founder.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Roots and Roofs podcast today. If you loved today's episode, please let me know. I love hearing from you on Instagram and Facebook, so feel free to send me a DM or tag me in your stories so I can share it too. If you're looking for more information about today's topic, please visit my website, mahoganyacres.com, and all of the information that is listed in the show notes below. Until next time.